Well, Dad, are you ready to hop in? Should we talk about a couple locksmith businesses for sale?
Yep, and I don't know anything about them, huh?
Nothing about them. You know, one thing that I've always done when we've recorded these is I have never given my dad a heads up. Have I?
No. Because
I like it. It's more fun. Just talk about it. You know, I think it keeps it the most genuine, and really it's the most fun for me. All right. Well, hey, let's hop right into it. So we have two of them for you today. I plan, unless we go way too long, we'll hit both of them. Otherwise, we'll do the first one here. And I actually want to give you the choice. I found one we're going to be talking about in Oregon, and I found one that we might be talking about in Utah. Which one would you rather start with?
Let's go with Oregon.
Oregon it is. All right. Now, the thing here, just the main point is, like, we don't share the business names or anything like that because it's not necessarily entirely about the business that is for sale, but it's a way to kind of talk through the value of thinking through as a man like you who has bought and sold several of them, opened them, closed them, you name them, you've done them.
Right.
And it's more to talk through what that looks like on where you can find value, where you can't find value, red flags, all the other things.
And everybody has their own opinion. This happens to be mine.
Yeah. And so for the record, though, is your opinion right?
Always.
Yes. Yes.
That's your mother.
So, of course, you know, this is for informational purposes only. And I don't share the listings. I don't think we've ever really shared them, but people find them. We know people bought them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Have called you and talked to you about it. They search on the internet, happens to be in their area.
Right.
They're calling you.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe it's a good way to,
Hey, if we're able to help somebody get through one, you know, if they buy it or sell it, whatever.
Exactly. All right. So here we go. In Oregon.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. All right. So let's start with the business description. So they call it a profitable, well-established locksmith in Oregon. All right. Got a picture here. I can kind of pull a few things out too, which would be cool. But okay, business description. This long-established, highly respected, essential service business has been operating successfully for over 26 years. This opportunity is ideal for career change entrepreneurs, mechanically inclined individuals, skilled trade professionals, owner-operators seeking strong cash flow, SBA qualified buyers. No prior locksmith experience required. This opportunity is structured to support a buyer without previous locksmith experience. A licensed locksmith employee is expected to remain with the business. The current owner is willing to stay on for at least 1 full year of paid transition and training, and potentially longer if helpful. Oregon locksmith certification is straightforward, multiple choice, and may be retaken until passing. Are they saying it's super easy?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
My guy told me it was because he's moving back to Oregon.
Yeah. Buyer may operate under the owner's license until the transition period while obtaining their own certification and contractor license. For motivated and mechanically inclined individual, the owner believes competency can be achieved within a reasonable and manageable time frame. Business highlights. You ready for them?
I'm ready.
All right. 26 years operating history, strong community reputation, repeat and referral-based revenue, essential recession-resistant service, established systems and supplier relationships, equipment and vehicles included, minimal inventory, high margin service model. Why this opportunity stands out. This is just not a locksmith business. This is a cash flowing service company with low overhead, strong margins, high demand, transferable skill set, and seller supported transition. Hold on.
Spit it out.
Hold on. I almost busted it. Okay. Gross revenue.
Okay.
$369,442. Yep. The inventory value is $39,000 and change. The equipment and fixtures is $36,000 and change. And the cash flow, which for the sake of these conversations is essentially money available plus owner salary, right? 142,000, almost about 143,000. Can you guess what the asking price is? And it looks like it was just reduced.
I go there, probably want, what, 299 to 400.
You pretty much got it right there. Asking price is 360,000. So a couple of the things that's kind of just established a little bit here and there. The rent space, and I'm looking at a picture of it, nice looking space, well organized, is $1,725 a month.
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah. So with that being said, Dad, what are you thinking about this?
What kind of equipment comes with it?
They don't list. I can see in the photo, though, I see a Triton. I see, it's like a belt sander. Honestly, I feel like I see a multi-lock machine back there. Kind of hard to tell.
Does it say how many service trucks?
No, but it does not say, it does list them as plural. So I would guess there is more than one. I'm guessing for the one employee and for
the owner.
Yeah.
So there's probably a two-man shop.
Yep. And there's two people in the photo, actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I don't know. From what you can tell, though, of the shop looks really nice. And you know what? There might be, I'm actually looking at the live listing here. So,
well, the best thing about this whole listing, the guy's willing to stay for a year.
Yes.
Most of them will say 30 days, maybe 6 months.
Yep.
But this listing's actually saying we'll train and help, for a year. So that's good.
So how much is that worth to you? Like having someone,
if you don't know what's going on.
Yes. I did pick out, though, let me go back to it here. So the current owner is willing to stay on for at least 1 full year of paid transition and training.
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, it means he gets his paycheck, unless you negotiate that into part of the sale.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'd do.
Yeah. But how much is it worth? Okay. Without that, let's say it's a 1 month transition. Owner wants to retire, is moving out of town. You get 1 month together and he's out compared to staying for a year. Yeah.
He has the one employee which still wants a job. So the employee has the new owner by his shorts because guy doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
So it would be better if they could negotiate for the owner to stay and the dude
for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See how he does it, because everybody has their own way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
But my way is not always the best. I've taken some of my employees' advice and why don't we do it this way?
Sure.
It's worked out. So, but me, I want to know what kind of trucks, how many miles, how many machines are in the trucks.
Well, the fact that they're essentially doing all the fixtures and equipment at $36,000.
Doesn't sound like that much.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're not getting two 2025.
Well, no, they're probably older. Yeah,
right?
They'd be older vehicles.
Yeah.
But as long as they can go down the road for at least a year,
yep,
that you can upgrade if you have to, or a car or whatever. But of course, what I always say too is negotiate the selling price.
Yeah, and so talk to me about that. So I'm actually pulling up SBA 7A loan calculator because I want to just see what this 360.
SBA wants your firstborn plus half of the next born.
Well, in the case of me, you wouldn't mind that, would you?
No.
Is that like a free loan?
That's
okay. So, the 7A is typically, I believe it's only a 10-year loan. Okay. You are looking at approximately $4,200 a month.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
I've looked at SBA loans when I opened up the Post Falls store.
Yep.
For the building.
Yeah.
But the only thing I dislike about SBA is they want to take everything you own as collateral. So now not everybody does that.
Okay.
But 90%, if you don't know anything about the business and you're going in, they want as much as they can attach for the loan.
Yeah.
So if you don't know that much about the business you're buying, this is my experience. They're going to try to,
Yeah, but so to me, though, what's the difference between that? And you're right, they do that. But I don't know about you, but when I sign line of credit documents or whatever, you have to personally guarantee them.
Yeah, so it doesn't really.
So is there an actual big difference? I mean, maybe one of you watching knows.
Well, you literally sign your house over to them.
You literally sign your house over.
And I told them I wouldn't do that, so.
Yeah, you're like, take a hike.
Yeah, because I still need a place to live if it went belly up. But besides that, I would negotiate the price.
Okay. And what, for a company like this making $142,000 a year?
For the dollars they make, that's great.
Yeah.
Just copying keys, you can make great money if you're in a high location.
Mm-hmm.
Just keying locks and cutting keys, you can make a fantastic living.
Yeah.
You don't have to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You're better off, so when one's slow, you can do the other.
Yeah, so what do you think, though? So you bring up an interesting point I kind of want to dive into for a second, which is, so I'm looking at this retail store, and now that I'm looking and we're talking, I see 3 people in it. Okay. I see one person, it looks like up at the front counter, and then 2 people in the back.
Oh.
And it's like, at what point, though, and it only mentions one employee, right, wanting to stay.
Right.
So at what point have you found your locksmith shops to be the most profitable? It's like you have one person in the store, you in the field, one person in the store, someone else in the field, and you kind of fill in gaps.
It's
or close the store when you get jobs.
Well, that's what I did at first because I didn't have any employees.
Yeah.
If I got a job, I left, so I'd be back. That's not a good way to run a company.
Yeah, but do you remember, during those scenarios, at what point did you feel like, man, I just have so much cash, I just need to stop. This is getting ridiculous.
Cash?
Yeah.
I've never had enough. There's never enough when you're in business. You're trying to create more and more. Yeah. But it takes money to have employees. Mm-hmm. But as long as it's, they make a fair wage, that's all you can ask. But as an owner buying it, it would be, why doesn't one of the employees buy it? A lot of people don't want to be an owner. Yeah. A couple of my guys said that. Yeah. I'd rather work for somebody. But,
So is there a more profitable time? Is it?
If you can keep your guys going the whole 7 hours a day, it can be very profitable. There's slow times. So, I bought, 7,000 keys. So guys take a turn, start stamping because we're not standing there, waiting for another job. And I'm not willing to let them go. So you got to make enough money to have when it's slow, that money. Yeah. Because they depending on you for a paycheck, just like you depend on them showing up every day. Sure. But for this, I liked that it's been around 26 years. Yep. You say it's a nice looking store. Yep. It has a lot of locks or safes or.
You can't really see that. They almost show the back area, which looks super clean.
Okay. That's a plus because a lot of locksmiths keep their stuff pretty dirty. Been in a lot of shops, including my own in the past. They get cluttered.
How would you rate yours right now? Scale 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being terrible.
9.
Really? I need to come.
9, baby.
I need to come show up, hold you accountable on that.
But it seems like a nice opportunity.
Yeah. So when it comes to the asking price, where are you at? Let's pretend that you were actually already planning on moving to Oregon. Or your staff member calls you who just moved to Oregon, is moving back to Oregon. Okay. And they're like, Pete, how much should I?
Well, they have 3 people there, so the owner's getting paid something. And then 2 employees, I presume. Yep. So, if they both make 30, it's not much anymore, but it's
just pretend.
Right. And then paying all the bills. But he says there's $142,000 in cash.
Cash flow, yeah.
Yeah. I would probably take $100,000 off of it myself.
260.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're also going to assume some sort of rent, which they don't talk about how long the lease is for.
Yeah. And see, that's the next problem. They might say, well, as soon as your lease is up, you're out of here.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the problem with leasing.
It's a risk.
Right. When you lease a space, unless you know the people real well, every year there's an increase. Yeah. Not always, but there is.
Sure.
You're at the mercy. That's why I try to own all my stores, but it takes money to do that in the long term.
Yeah. So on this one, you're probably about 260. I think the one thing on this side, right, is you have to be careful. So, for example, for doing this example, whether it was a 7A loan or just a 10-year bank note, you're looking around, let's call it $4,500 a month.
Right. So you got to take that out of the 142.
Yeah, you take that, and that cash flow goes from 143 to 95.
143. Yeah, a year.
Yeah,
right.
A year.
Right.
Yep. And so, at the same part, if you can grow the business, right? But yeah, I mean, it's
always about growing the business. A lot of people get, satisfied with the business just going. I'm always trying to gain more business because I want to be the domineering locksmith in the area.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's always good, but you strive.
Sure.
Because I'd rather buy more trucks and have more employees than let other locksmiths move in or whatever.
Sure. Sounds like it's a pretty nice, established business.
Absolutely.
The shop from the photo looks pretty good.
Yeah, but again, you don't know if you have a tubular key machine. You don't know if you say there's a Triton in there, right?
Yep.
Okay. How many, duplicators? I've got like 6 duplicators, just to duplicate whatever key comes through the door.
Sure.
Does it have an HPC or something? Cut the other ones without using.
Yeah. I think the big question here is how quick can you get your money back? Because that's the risk.
Right.
Right. The risk is how quick can you get your money back, and are you just buying a job?
Well, it seems like we all buy jobs sometimes.
Fair
at least
enough.
when you get started,
Yeah.
But your job, you're buying a job where you can make a future. So there's pros and cons on everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, here, let's move on to the next one here. We're already 32 minutes in.
Yep.
Let's move on to Utah. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
All right. They list the name in here a little bit, so I got to make sure I don't try not to say it. Turnkey locksmith business for sale with 1.5 years of successful operation in the great state of Utah.
Yep.
I have the great state part, but located in a prime commercial building complex in the center of the city, featuring a professional front office storefront and a spacious back warehouse with ample room for inventory, storage, equipment, and service vehicles. Strategically positioned for easy access, it's just a short drive to Salt Lake City International, approximately 8 miles. Ideal for quick service calls and growth potential. Included assets: fully equipped service van loaded with tools inventory, plus multiple digital assets like Google Maps profile boosting over 200 reviews, Google guarantee, and Google Ads account verified. This is a ready-to-run operation, offers immediate revenue with established clientele and all the essentials in place. Perfect for a new owner, Pete, to step in and grow.
Not for Pete.
No, yeah, sorry about that. A little slip. No, years of operation, 2 employees, 1 full-time, 1 part-time. Facilities and assets, turnkey, everything including tools, inventory, service van, fully equipped, keys inventory, automatic key cutters, key programmers, shop setup. Okay. This company operates in a highly competitive locksmith services market in the Salt Lake City metro area. Key competitive forces include customer experience, branding, digital presence, and service reliability. As a branded service business, we differentiate through our exceptional customer focus, strong engagement, and hybrid model featuring a verified Google Map over 200 reviews, Google guarantee badge, and active Google accounts. Opportunities for growth. All right. The market has local independence and national change. Our established digital assets and reputation hold a significant edge in visibility and trust. Expansion potential is strong, scalable via aggressive digital marketing, SEO optimization, and leveraging our already foundational for rapid growth. Future opportunities include business partnerships, networking to expand commercial, residential, and automotive coverage. Mobile service enables efficient reach across a 50-mile radius.
Okay.
All right. A few other little pieces of info here. On the real estate, it is leased. The size is 1,050 square feet.
Okay.
Rent, $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Lease expiration, 4/1/27, so about a year.
Okay.
I guess a little under a year at this point.
Yep.
About the sale, why is the seller selling? Changing business industry. Transition support, all training and support necessary for new owner transition, full operational insight. All right, gross revenue, $116,000. Inventory, which is included in the asking price, $30,000. Equipment and fixtures, $16,000. Included in the asking price.
Inventory
$30,000.
and equipment.
16.
Doesn't sound like it has much equipment at all.
EBITDA, so they don't listen, they want me to sign in to view the cash flow. It doesn't really matter. But the EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, deductions, and what's the last one? I can't remember. Sorry, we're live. Sorry. Is $58,000. Okay.
Okay.
What's the asking price? What's your guess?
Probably asking $199.
I like your erring on the higher side a little bit today. I like it. You know, is it you must be
Well, we're live. I don't want to be a jerk.
You must be making a lot of money right now. Contact Pete
Yeah,
if you want money.
that's that.
Asking price $165,000.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at the storefront image. Nice little professional storefront. Nice van. I'm guessing that's part of the 16,000. It's what's like a smaller
Ford.
Oh yeah, it's like a
Nissan.
Transit Connect
Yeah.
type van.
Small van.
Nice little one picture of the inside has a X-Horse key machine sitting there. Looks like a VVDI maybe on the wall there. Couple like an air wedge sitting there. Fairly nice looking though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it looks in good shape. Nice and clean. Nice work. Now, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, he's only been around for a year and a half.
2 years.
2 years. And why is he getting rid of it?
Changing industries.
Okay. So that means he's not liking to do it. If you're changing, something else came around, you know, so is it a good fit? It's not, locksmithing isn't a good fit for everybody. But, you know, if you're ambitious and a go-getter, you can make something out of any business, but it's paying that price.
Yeah.
You know, if he only has 30,000 in inventory, the other one we looked at had 36,000.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around 26 years.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of inventory. Not if he only has equipment at 16,000. I don't. You know, if you buy a code machine, there's, you know, $5,000 roughly, you know.
Yeah. And let me do the SBA calculator here. Let's just for the kicks and the giggles.
Okay.
Yeah. If you could, you see my screen?
No.
If you can guess to a round number,
2,200.
to 100.
2,200.
Nope. Man, I was trying to give you something good to shoot for.
Okay.
But anyways, it's about 1,900.
So I'm only $300 off.
That's a long ways, Captain.
Well, when it's my $300, yep.
Yeah. So $1,900 a month. So if you do that math, so if you were to get this business paid, let's just round up to 2,000.
Yeah.
Right, for the kicks
So
and the
it's
giggles.
24,000 in rent
Out of essential.
for payment.
Yep. Out of 58,000.
Yeah. So there's half.
So it gives you 40 left.
Yeah. 58. Okay. 20. Right. So then you got your rents or your payments you got rent on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You got, you know,
Yeah. Yep. You're right. You're right. So let's do the math here. Where was that at? So that's 1,500. So, okay. So if we're sitting at, oh boy, let's call it 25,000 plus, let's call it 15. You're at 40,000.
Right. And then
Leaves you 20 grand.
Yeah. Is the vehicle paid for?
I'm guessing. Yeah. In part of that. Yeah.
So can you live off of 20 grand?
I mean, I guess maybe the question is not if you could, but do you want to go into debt
To make 20 grand.
Yeah. And work.
Right.
Now, if that's something that you'd be interested in, sir, okay.
No, I'd have to make more. So he's asking 169. It's a tough one.
So
I'd probably offer not even half, to be quite honest, because he's asking 159,
165.
165, because there's not that much profit by the time you pay for everything to survive.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm kind of seeing it, and tell me what you think here. So if you're doing 165, all right,
Mm-hmm.
which I think you would say is someone, like if you look at one of your techs doing that, like they're pretty busy, you know? I mean, they're
absolutely
out there doing stuff. I think, and by looking at the showroom, like I'm probably wanting to close that storefront.
It'd be good for
It's going to free up $17,000 or so, and I don't know if that includes is it triple net? Is there do you have insurance?
Well,
for
you
that?
got to have insurance.
Well, I mean, or is it covered by that?
Never.
It says they're in a complex level. You're right, but I'm trying to err on the safe side here.
No, and I'm going to be on the other side.
I mean, it's safe to say though, not having that storefront, unless they showed me a
Craft where it keeps going up.
where the storefront is the main generator. Right. I'm probably okay, that's probably, let's call it maybe 20 grand a year, 25 grand a year.
Right.
So you can move that EBITDA from essentially 60 to 80.
Right.
Now
it looks better.
It looks better. Right. And then being 8 miles from the airport I'm sure there's opportunity there.
Oh, absolutely.
He's
locked in.
Yep. So, I mean, how much are you offering?
I'd still offer half.
So you'd offer about 80. You'd offer 80 to get paid 20 grand.
No, I'd probably even offer less because I worry. Again, me. How many miles are on that truck? Is the transmission jerking, and you're gonna have to put money right into it?
Yeah.
You got to look at all that stuff. So it's tough, because the gentleman or gal, whoever owns it, is, worked hard to get it to where it's at.
Yep.
But there's so many ands, ifs, and buts.
I think another thing is there's one full-time, one part-time, probably the part-time's for the shop.
Right.
So
and the full-time's probably the owner.
Yep. And so then it takes the EBITDA, you get rid of the shop, get rid of the part-time.
Right.
80, let's call it you're over 100 now.
Right.
Right. I mean, now it's okay, if you were to buy something for maybe 70,000 or 80,000,
right,
and you're going to make 100.
But again, to grow a business, you got to get other people,
Yeah.
That's what I did anyway.
Yeah. So what do you think about then, though? Are you going to want to try to keep that shop up? Or are you going to want to get rid of it? Talk me through it.
Well, do they have key rings and all that stuff, what you're already buying, and now they're not going to be worth a darn because you can't sell them because you don't have a storefront?
Yeah.
I mean, I have all sorts of knick-knack stuff.
Yep.
Customers like to buy to make more revenue when you have a store. The question is, do you have enough walk-in to maybe bump that person full-time so you can pay, so you can make more money out in the field?
Yeah.
It's a tough call.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's there is value there. And I think one of the things to really point out is that they kind of hit pretty hard is they do have all the verified Google Locksmith business listings, right? Which can be difficult. Is that going to go away if you don't have your storefront anymore?
Yeah, that's possible.
Right. But the fact they do have that, I'm guessing
I'm not a Google lever anyways.
Oh, we know. So, I mean, it's kind of, it's tough.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough.
Definitely. Would I buy it for my price?
Which is?
To half.
Okay, so
I'd probably give 60 to 70.
Okay.
But you got to remember, anytime you're into a business, you're going to have to put some money into it, especially maybe the new person has all these different ideas what they're going to try to increase it. So it's, it's a catch-50.
Yeah, what do you think about Brad's Lock and Key says that no storefront, no visibility for a newer shop?
No storefront?
Yeah, for if you got rid of the storefront.
Yeah, no visibility, right. You have to depend on your Google stuff completely.
You do.
And I like my name on everything and anything, so I like storefronts.
Yeah.
It's a struggle to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, it's like there is value there. I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, what are ways, if you're the seller of this, that you can extract you the maximum value?
Right, and he didn't say he was sticking around either. So it'd have to be somebody with some experience to take it over. Mm-hmm. Like the one store I sold, the guy had no experience. I worked with him for a year.
You warned him.
Yeah, I said, you got to live it and breathe it. And then he sold everything back to me for pennies on the dollar. Yeah.
Now, he did say that all training and support necessary for a new owner transition. So there's no timeline on it, which is probably best.
Right.
But you'd want to nail them down.
Yeah, because I've already helped you, forget it,
as you know, with many of these that we've done, in particular with this one, you have to figure out how you can, it's like, hey, this is the deal. I'll give you 20 grand down.
And have them carry it.
And I will pay you X amount of revenue for 2 years.
Right.
And if sales go up, and where I'm able to get more jobs, we both make more money. And if I have customers leave me because you're not the one helping them anymore, then you're going to get less. But I'll pay you every month based on X amount, and then I'll have my accountant do the books and send you a letter every month saying that these are, legit. Like I'm not, stuffing checks under my pillow or something.
I don't know. I wouldn't trust them.
Come on.
No, but
I think that's a way.
If he'd carry it, and do something like that, that would be a better way. Then you give him their asking price because he has something to lose too. But I've also seen businesses do that, and the person runs it down in the ground, and then they hand you the keys back and say, well, it doesn't make any money. Well, you just ruined the company I built because you didn't,
There is that, right? I mean, there's risks on both sides, right? There's risks buying a $165,000 company to, after a payment, make 20 grand.
Right.
There's also a risk having a guy making sure he doesn't run it into the ground.
Right.
But I think it's one of those, if you want maximum value, you have to get this guy to pay X amount of revenue. Nice chunk up front.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 grand.
Right. That would be the better way of buying it, I would think.
I'm just trying to think in my head, like, what's a way?
Unless you're already experienced locksmith and you know how to do everything, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Because then you can build it because you know what the heck you're doing. So there's both sides you have to look at.
There is. There really is both sides. But, well, that's it, Dad. Those are the two I want to go over today. Was that how did you like doing it? How did you like us doing this live?
Good, cool.
Yeah. Well, anyways, everybody, have a good, safe night. Keep doing that good work. We'll see you next week. All right, y'all take care.